All right, we're here, we're American, and we shop. And in 1993, the mall was the mecca of American shopping. RuPaul had just broken out with the hit single Supermodel. And MTV News followed Ru as she went to some of her favorite shops in the mall. From shopping at Sam Goody.
Sam Goody!
Oh my God, yes!
Oh my gosh.
You go to Blockbuster next?
Exactly. You know, half of our viewers don't even know what a Blockbuster is.
Oh my gosh.
Sam
Remember
Goody
Maxi
photos
other
with
recipes?
families and creating an impromptu fashion runway at a discount fashion store. RuPaul showed a side we rarely got to see to that point, much less today.
Yay! You better work. Hey, you guys have this? Everybody say love. Everybody say love. Hey, you kids, I have one thing to say. You better work. Hello.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
All right.
you, MTV.
Thank you.
Okay.
You keep saying you gotta work.
You better work, honey.
You keep saying you better work.
Uh-huh.
Exactly what does it mean to work?
Working is doing the best you can do at whatever it is you're doing. It's like, you know, you here, it's now, you might as well pay the cost to be the boss. It's my turn, I'm coming out. Who's the boss? Hello.
What do you do when people stare?
Well, you know, I actually dress up this way so that people will stare.
Yeah.
Really, and I love it. I love it, and I think I'm sending out a positive energy, and I never actually have a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people might say something or scream something, but they actually are loving me, even if they say it's positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
They actually, and if someone has a problem with it, the problem they have isn't with me. It's actually with what the me they see in themselves.
Is Middle America ready for you? What do you think?
You know what? Mid-America is ready for me, and they're going to have to be ready for me if they're not ready or not. I mean, what I am is I'm a result of a change that's happening, and if they don't get me, the change is still going to happen with or without me. Learn how to love yourself, no matter what, whether you know. And once you do love yourself, you don't have to be putting nobody else down because you're not threatened by them. Right? The only people who would ever be threatened by me is someone who doesn't really know themselves or doesn't know what's inside of themselves, you know?
What's your next big challenge?
My next big challenge is world domination.
And after that?
Oh. Thanks for the countdown, by the way, guys.
You were all in that.
He was.
Right?
He was
like, wow.
I was having flashbacks of his.
I was behind her holding her purse.
Right.
I had tears in my eyes. Oh, I just want to remind you, that was 30 years ago. 30 years ago. All right, question number 5. With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. She has one thing to say. And we're all shocked at that rare 1993 RuPaul shopping spree. Are we shocked at what we just saw?
I'm shocked.
Yes.
Shocked at the fact that she's dressed like a Hooters waitress.
So,
right? That's what I don't understand. Like,
so-
why was she wearing that? You know?
But let me tell you, if you remember,
That was the style?
that was her style. Every interview that she did, she dressed just like this. I remember this,
okay.
and she changed the world because straight folks love that song. She revolutionized how folks looked at gay folks because she had on Esther in her video and inside the song. So you got to think about how she brought in that voiceover of someone who was a black icon. So LaWanda Page is there making that stuff happen. And so she really resonated with our community. But everywhere you saw her, you saw that.
To your point, I just remind everybody, the only drag-initiated song ever in history in the Billboard 100
Was
is
that?
that song.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it me or does she seem more like humble and nice
Yes,
and sweet
absolutely.
and like untainted by all the
And
bureaucracy and crazy?
Yes.
This moment?
Yes,
Yes.
doesn't she look
Before the money?
Having more fun.
like more fun, more
Yeah.
down to earth?
She looked tender to me. She looked really young, like tender, meaning that you're very like wanting to take over the world, but humble enough to know that I have to go through the challenges to do it.
You know, and I've told this story before, but real quickly, I'll tell it again.
Go ahead,
in
RuPaul.
2010,
Cha-ching.
when I brought her to
Cha-ching.
Sawmill here in Florida, she performed,
Cha-ching.
and of course that song was done.
Cha-ching.
And she came and she had 3 costume changes. And she did about 27, 30 minutes in a track set. She changed costumes 3 times, and it was the exact same dress in 3 different colors.
Iconic.
It was like, I'm calling it in.
I need 3 of these.
And it was
Sawmill.
it was mediocre. However, now I'm going to prove that that's not true.
I agree.
In 2014, 2015, it was season 6, maybe something like that. Maybe season 7, something like that. She came back to Sawmill. And she had done the concert down at Gay Mardi Gras in Sydney, and they booed her off the stage.
Damn.
At Sydney Mardi Gras. And it was because basically they were very disappointed in the performance. And she was really to the point, I honestly think, I don't want to do this anymore. And she came to Sawmill, and I cannot tell you how many thousands of people were at that concert. It's the last live concert that I'm aware of she did anywhere in the world. And she was so good, she was beyond good. In our genre, she could have been Beyonce. She was that good in that moment.
What? You just compared her to Beyonce? To the Queen Bee?
Now listen, outdoors on a stage in the woods at Sawmill. She was so amazing, and she never did it again. And I think that is kind of kind of to the point of what you just said. She didn't have to anymore.
She didn't have to.
She doesn't
But
have
I saw
to
her
do
at White Party, and she was mediocre, and like it didn't seem to matter. People were still like,
Well, I'm taking the shot because I think that I am surprised by this. I'm surprised that she was so wise and so prescient at the time to like change the world of drag in the way that the things that she's saying now are the same expressions she says on Drag Race. And I'm like, to be so consistent 30 plus years ago and to have that wisdom, that's pretty
all the
freaking
jokes
astonishing.
we make about RuPaul at the table, mostly the jokes are made about me, not RuPaul.
Absolutely.
But all of the
to make the point clear.
elimination, you've been great on this. But to the point, RuPaul has reinvented for drag. All of the inclinations of Drag Race, a lot of that is World of Wonder and Fenton and other people. But she's reinvented. No one is ever in our lives ever going to touch what you saw here in 1993 or 30 years later.
So can we?
True.
No
It's
one.
true.
I agree.
Exactly for that reason is why she needs to be way louder than she is when it comes to what's going on
She
to
should.
our drag queens.
And she should.
I'm
But
sorry, because she gave these people the lives
She did.
that they have.
And can we also say that she has reinvented herself as well? Because we talked about that. That was her look throughout that moment. And whenever you saw her, she worked her niche. And then as she continued to grow, she then worked other niches, whether it was that pose, whether it was those gowns and whatever. So we got to applaud her tenacity. And I will admit, I loved RuPaul. I would go see this RuPaul. I'm not sure if I would go see the current RuPaul.
Pass a note over to him and make him sign and date that.
So World of Wonder RuPaul, that cash dollars would go to my cash app, not to ours.
Okay.
Cha-ching.
All right. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.